Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and in this video we're going to be discussing 5 steps to make yourself irresistible to your ex. So this is going to be more of a big picture kind of video. I know that sometimes it can be helpful to get into the minute details, but we don't want to get lost in those details, because if we lose sight of what the actual big picture is, you know, we could end up just like micro analyzing emojis and text messages forever. And that's fun, but it may not lead to anything. So let's take a big look at what it actually takes to get your ex back, what it actually takes to be irresistible to your ex. Okay, so the first things first. If you're new to this channel, if you've just found me, if this is maybe the first video that you've ever watched of mine, first of all, hello, welcome. We have a phrase here about that state that you often find yourself in immediately after a breakup, the panicked state, the state where you call or text many, many times per day, you beg, you plead, you promise things are going to be different, and you know, you just end up getting rejected over and over and over again. Anyway, this state is called damage control mode in our little community here. And we want to get out of this state of mind, okay? There are a lot of good reasons for this, but the most prominent one is that it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. People don't have great results operating from a place of damage control mode. In fact, it actually does more damage to the emotional connection. And it's just going to be damage that you're going to have to, you know, heal and repair later on. So we want to get out of damage control mode so that you can actually start to do some of these other things. And there could be lots of things that you could do to get out of damage control mode. This is why many times people will recommend the no contact rule. I'm using air quotes here because there is not one singular no contact rule. There are many different types, just like how there's many different types of diets out there. You know, it's not just like, yeah, I'm on the diet. No, it's like, okay, I'm going keto this week, or I'm going paleo, or I'm going like raw this week, or all these sorts of different things, right? What we want to do is we want to recognize that there is a purpose and intent for no contact, at least in our little world, in our little community here. If you're just going to do no contact for the sake of doing no contact and making your ex miss you so that they crawl over broken shards of glass and confess that they can't live without you or something like that, then this is not the advice that you should be listening to, because our intention with no contact is to say, okay, something isn't working in how we're interacting with our ex, and it's causing damage to happen to the emotional connection. And so rather than staying in contact and continue to do more damage, it makes sense to cut that contact, take a step back and say, okay, what's not working? What do we need to do differently? And then start moving forward from there. So anyway, if you're in damage control mode, it may make sense to go into what we call active no contact. By the way, we have a whole video series on active no contact right up there. Go ahead and check it out. When you're in active no contact, you're going to be actively doing things to, for example, get out of damage control mode if that's what you're in. You're also going to be actively doing things to improve your relational skills so that you can have a better impact when you get back in contact. But anyway, we want to make sure that you're getting out of damage control mode, okay? The second thing that you want to do is you want to be able to fix whatever caused the breakup in the first place. There are all sorts of different reasons why breakups happen, obviously. You know, there's like cheating, there's arguing, there's fighting, there's all sorts of stuff like that. But what we want to do is we want to look at what caused the breakup to happen, not just on a surface level, but on a deeper level, okay? It's not just a matter of like, oh my goodness, they broke up with me because I never cleaned up around the house. It's probably not that. It's probably something deeper, like they felt like they were alone in all of this and you weren't willing to support them and help them, or you were always prioritizing your own stuff over their needs, or whatever the case might be. Take a deeper look at what's going on and actually look at what caused the breakup to happen, and do whatever you can do to fix that. Do whatever you can do to bring that back into congruency, so that you can say, okay, I understand that this is why the breakup happened. Now I'm willing to, you know, show up in a more emotionally available way. Now I'm willing to help you more. Now I'm willing to take more of an interest in your life. Now I'm willing to, you know, not prioritize my mother's opinion over you, or something like, you know, whatever it might be. I don't know what it might be, but go ahead and start looking at what that is, where it's coming from, and start resolving it. Because, you know, we say many times on this channel, your ex isn't going to walk back into the same relationship that they walked out of in the first place. So we have to make sure that we're making some sort of meaningful change so they know and understand that this is going to be a different dynamic. This is going to be something different than what they left in the first place. The third thing that you have to do with your ex is to actually connect with them. You know, it's not just enough to say, okay, great, I fixed all the problems that led to our breakup in the first place. You have to actually connect with them in a way where they actually have an uplifting experience that brings the two of you closer together. This is where a lot of the things that we've talked about in previous videos, like advanced relational skills or communication skills and all these sorts of things, come together. Because obviously you're not just going to want to be in a relationship with someone just because of the absence of problems, right? You want to be in a relationship with someone because of positive things that are there, like whether that's connecting, whether that's laughing, whether that's having a great time, whether that's being open and honest with one another, whether that is, whatever it might be, that's an important relationship factor for you or your ex, okay? You want to make sure that you're bringing those to the interaction so that there's actually something positive for the two of you to move closer toward. The fourth thing is that you want to walk them through their own hesitation and their own resistance. So as you do start to get closer to your ex, as you do start to connect with them, they're probably going to hesitate and resist at some point in the process. Maybe it's not a lot at first. Maybe it is a lot at first. Maybe it's not a lot at first, but it's a lot later. Maybe it's a lot at first and a lot later. I don't know. But your ex is probably going to have some concerns, some reservations about getting closer to you, whether that's maybe doubts that the changes that are happening are, real and legitimate. Maybe they're concerned that this is just you on your best behavior. This is just you trying some gimmick that you picked up somewhere or something like that. We want to walk them through that. Or maybe they're concerned that, like, okay, maybe this all seems nice, but we've been down this road before. You've promised things would be different, and they haven't been different. We just sort of slipped back into old patterns. We need to walk them through that as well too. Maybe there's other things going on as well too. Maybe they have friends that are, encouraging them to not be in contact with you, or maybe they're in a rebound relationship or something like that. But there's an emotional component to that we have to work through, and that is, helping them through their resistance and hesitation towards being in contact with you or getting closer together with you. This is pretty much a universal thing in every situation that I've experienced, since helping people since 2009. So I imagine your ex is probably going to have some degree of hesitancy or resistance. Just be prepared for it. Be prepared to walk them through it, through, some of the communication skills that we talk about inside of effortless connection, for example. And then the fifth thing is we want to be able to eliminate friction. So what is friction? So there's the emotional resistance that they feel and experience, right? And that's the emotional component of all of this. But there's also the logistical, practical obstacles that could stand between the two of you. For example, maybe they went and they told all of their friends and family, hey, we broke up. I'm so glad we broke up. I'm so glad that I'm done with that jerk, that whatever, right? I can just be free. I can be single now. Now it's going to feel a little bit silly for them to just turn around, a few weeks or a few months later and say, hey, remember how I was talking about how I'm so glad to be done with that jerk? Well, guess what? We're dating again and we're back together. That can be a little bit embarrassing. That can be challenging and all of that. Or maybe after your breakup, they ended up in a rebound relationship, and they're a little bit afraid to get out of that rebound relationship to get back together with you because they're not sure if this relationship with you is going to be the real deal. They're not certain in it. They're not feeling confident in it. And the last thing they want to do is break up with you to be with someone else, and then break up with that person to get back together with you, and then have that relationship fall apart again. Then they're going to just feel like, oh my goodness, I'm this like train wreck person that you hear about on TV or something, who's like breaking up with one person, getting together with another person and all that stuff. And so we have to work through these points of friction, whatever they might be. Those are just two examples. And this is going to involve that emotional component that we talked about, but it's also going to obviously involve practically working through the logistics of this. Like, obviously they're not going to get back together with you until they leave the rebound relationship. It just defies the laws of, logic or something, unless you're in some sort of like polyamorous relationship, in which case all bets are off. You have to be able to navigate friction, whatever that might be. This does include that emotional component, but it also includes a practical component as well too, okay? And so we have to make sure that we focus on all of these, and we have to make sure that we're focusing on getting through damage control mode, fixing whatever caused the breakup so they know they're not walking back into the same relationship that they walked out of in the first place, connecting and handling emotional and also practical resistance as well too. If you did like this video, by the way, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for the algorithm. And if you do want some help with these 5 things here, please make sure you head on over to modernlove.life/quiz if you want to perhaps join our coaching program and have a discussion about what that might look like. Again, that's over at modernlove.life/quiz. There's a short little application just so that we can get a sense about who you are, where you're at, what you're dealing with, and then if it makes sense for us to work together, we can take things from there. But again, modernlove.life/quiz. And once again, please hit that thumbs up button for the algorithm. Please take care, and I'll talk to you in the next